Next up is communication. No one signed up for that. Is there anyone here to speak? Then we will move along to superintendent's recommendations and reports.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Begley. At this time, Mrs. Howard will be covering the items listed under Personnel Professional and Personnel Support.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Begley and members of the board, I have several items for your consideration this evening. Under Personnel Professional, number 1, resignations, letters A through I. Number 2, unpaid leaves of absence, letters A and B. Number 3, employment, letters A through H. And that concludes all the items I have for your consideration under Personnel Professional.
Thank you, Mrs. Howard. I'll entertain a motion to accept these recommendations.
Make a motion.
Second.
Mr. Napier and Mrs. Gundrum. Any discussion? Mrs. Lane, please call the roll.
Mr. Napier?
Yes.
Mrs. Gundrum?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Begley?
Yes.
I also have several items for your consideration this evening under Personnel Support. Number 1, resignations, letters A through C. Number 2, unpaid leaves of absence, letters A through C. Number 3, employment, letters A through D. And number 4, termination, letter A. And that concludes all the items I have for your consideration this evening under Personnel Support.
Thank you, Mrs. Howard. I entertain a motion to accept these recommendations.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Gundrum, Mr. Clark, any discussion? Mrs. Lane, please call the roll.
Mrs. Gundrum?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Napier?
Yes.
Mr. Begley?
Yes.